And I want to start off by looking at the situation of dealing with fascism. I've stood up on this platform for 16 years, I think, and when I first stood up here, the BNP had 1 million votes, 2 MEPs, I think it was 160 councillors, and today they've got no MEPs, they've got 2 councillors that they claim, and also they have not been able to confirm themselves as a political party. In other words, in that sense, they've dissolved in that way. And I think that's a testament to the work that people have done, in the sense that was not the feeling it was at the beginning when Nick Griffin was on Question Time and presenting himself. Actually, I would say that as an organisation that they've dissolved. Am I arguing that fascism has gone away? Actually, anybody who went to Dover last weekend, right, and saw the National Front marching, it's important to understand that the fascists are there. I mean, Diane did a brilliant speech actually in the city centre, where we took over the city centre. There was a big demonstration in the city centre. Diane Abbott spoke said exactly the truth. He said that we're the majority and they're the minority, and the key question is how to organise that. And I think the tactics that we face now of dealing with the fascists means understanding what they are. If they come out like Jobbik and Golden Dawn, then they are hardened fascists in the Nazi style. If they come out like the Front National, and I have to say the Front National are the most dangerous fascist group we face at the moment. Why? I know that they didn't get any sessions, they didn't get any seats in the last election that they took place, but they were the largest party. And the truth is, although they're disappointed, the reality is that they've got potential in the presidential election of coming and winning. They've got a chance of coming second on the paper, and that represents a shift in Europe that we haven't seen for a very long time. And what it represents is the deep poisoning cancer that we have. And I think we have a responsibility to actually do something about it. That's why it was important that Diane and Jeremy went to Calais, to their camp over the refugees, and showed solidarity and said the problems of austerity are not caused by that. In other words, we've got a fragmented fascist far right in this country. You've heard them. They're alphabet soup, aren't they? Britain First, the Northwest Infidels. I mean, I won't go on, but because it becomes almost frightening that I know these letters in these orders and the names and the faces and stuff like that. But in all our cities, there's a potential of putting 260 Nazis on there. And actually, at the heart core of them, they're incredibly nasty, I think. What you've got is a smaller but nastier group. And therefore, it's important that we organise against it. As well as taking place the demonstration in Dover, there was also Dewsbury. And in Dewsbury, we outnumbered them. And I want to say the tactics are very important. You see, when the EDL were marching, and let's be honest, anybody went on those demonstrations, come on, they were pretty scary, weren't they? The reality is, in Stoke and in various other numbers, they didn't come with small numbers, they came with 3,000 to 6,000 people, and they outnumbered us at certain points. Today, Tommy Robinson, I call him third time lucky, right? He's marching in Birmingham today. I've been told he's got 150 people in the rain, wherever it is. Now, that doesn't mean we ignore Pegida. I mean, it's amazing actually. I'm an internationalist in that sense. But he's so desperate he's he's part of a German organisation now, because that's the only way. He has to go to another organisation to try and build what's happening. But that's a warning to us. It's a warning because what the Nazis are doing is they're organising on an international basis across Europe, and therefore, anywhere they break through, what's taken place in Sweden or Denmark, any of these places can lead to a growth of a problem. And in between that, we've got racist populists like UKIP. And the question around the referendum and the question about what happens in Europe means that these racist populists are going to become part of the argument. We're going to have to oppose them as well. I mean, Claude Moraes is sitting in the audience there, and I remember going to European Parliament, and there were open Nazis there, and there was all these UKIP people there, and they're in the corridor, and they're getting the lift with you. And you have to you hear the music playing in the lift, and you don't know whether to punch them or spit on them or whatever it is, but nevertheless, they're there, and they're there as elected officials. So this represents a problem for us. We're going to need to build, across Europe, anti-fascist activity that joins together, but at the heart of it, actually, to be honest, what is pushing the racist agenda? The truth of it, in this country, is David Cameron. David Cameron comes up with bad results for the economic process. He opens up January the 1st, he finds out the economy's not growing, and he suddenly decides that there's a Muslim population in Britain and he's going to speak out about them. He's suddenly an expert on whether Muslim women speak English or not, or how women are dressing, or suddenly he's an expert on fashion. Actually, the truth is we're seeing a racist offensive. I'm old enough to remember Enoch Powell, right? And Enoch Powell was kicked out of the Tory party for making some of the same type of racist statements that David Cameron makes today. So I think we face a very complex movement. On one hand, there's no room for complacency around the Nazis, particularly in the way that they're growing. But the main way that the soup that they're growing in is Islamophobia, racism, and the attacks on refugees. And we're going to have to combine a strategy of both making sure they don't grow. To be honest, I don't want to see any more of those National Front demonstrations inside Dover, but I actually think we have to think very carefully about how we do it. Some people said to me, what we have to do is all dress in black, go down and, do you know what I mean, well, I'm already done that, but that's not the reason why I support. I don't believe that that's the tactic that did it. In Walthamstow, the tactic that did it is numbers. It's always numbers. Cable Street, numbers. Lewisham, numbers. What we did in Walthamstow, Tower Hamlets, numbers. This is what we need. We need to mobilise numbers, and we need to win the question of what a united front means in practice. If you're against the Nazis, you start off with the principle, I will join with anybody, providing you're against breaking with them. I will then, you know, I was once on a demonstration, sorry, I'm David, I won't go into that, but I was on a demonstration with people. I had to speak on the same platform as Tony Blair, actually. I mean, I'm not talking to the dead, but I had to speak on it because we agreed on that one question, we were against the Nazis. 99% of the time we'd be screaming and arguing with each other, actually. I use an extreme example in terms of I was forced to be on that platform, but it's important that we understand we're unity with anybody against fighting the Nazis. I'll end up with this question. The 19th of March, it's very important that we show solidarity to our French brothers and sisters and to the refugees there by making sure that demonstration is as big as possible. It's about solidarity with them over the question over Le Pen, and I think I want to start ending with something else. In Germany, they've taken 1 million refugees. I know that they have had the question of the growth of the far right there, but we should take a leaf out of Germany's books and saying that refugees are welcome here. Germany's taken 1 million, we've taken 5,000. Actually, we have to make sure that we change that and make sure that racism isn't used to divide us and that we keep the Nazis small and divided. The people that change things are not the people from above. Of course it matters that we have representatives like Diane and the MPs and the people that change here. But every one of you, in all your cities, you've made the difference between stopping the BNP, the EDL when they march, and by the way, I've just got a message to say that in Birmingham there's a demonstration against Pegida and against Tommy Robinson. We outnumber them. It's raining up there. They've got 150 people in an industrial estate. Right? I don't believe that's the master race actually going to take over the world. I don't think we should ignore Tommy. He's turned up in 3 different ways, the BNP, the EDL, and now Pegida. There's a danger in terms of what's happening across Europe. But I do think it's important that we build Unite Against Fascism, but on the 19th of March, as you've all stood up, let's all stand up against racism and make sure we stand together and make sure that we not only kick fascism into the dustbin of history, but we also stand up for those people that have got those rights. Thank you very much.